Monday.
Yeah.
Finish up some commercial spots out there.
All right, Jenny, we're live. You ready for the intro?
Yes.
Here it comes. You're listening to the Grow Clinton podcast. Grow Clinton is a 501c6 nonprofit economic community development and tourism organization based in Clinton, Iowa. For more information, visit growclinton.com. Again, that's growclinton.com. Now, back to the show. What's happening, everybody out there in podcast land? Thank you so much for tuning in to the Grow Clinton podcast. That's right, folks. You know it. You love it. You know where to find it. It's the best podcast on the planet Earth. Grow Clinton, a nonprofit organization focused on community development, economic development, and tourism. Located right here along the eastern side of the state of Iowa, right along the mighty Mississippi River. You can't miss us. Great community. I am the president and CEO, Grow Clinton, known as Andy Sokolovich, in studio, always joined by Jenny Home from our office. Jenny, what's up?
Oh, we got a great day today, don't we? Because we have a couple of podcasts.
2 podcasts today, doubleheader.
Yes.
Looking forward to it. Great guests. Before we get to the guest, Jenny,
Yes.
I got to recognize our sponsors. That's right, folks. We have sponsors here at the Grow Clinton podcast. Huge shout out to Citizens First Bank sponsoring this mic check, making your finances and our audio here on the podcast crystal clear. These new microphones that you're listening to right now for the Grow Clinton podcast are proudly sponsored by the bank that's always in tune with our community. Find them at gocfb.bank, banking as it should be with Citizens First Bank, member FDIC. Thank you to AdCraft Printwear and Sully Sports. AdCraft has been in the custom apparel business since 1974. Over the years, they've grown from a small family-run organization right here in Clinton, Iowa, to a cutting-edge operation that serves teams and companies all over the United States for all of your custom print wear needs, everything from athletic wear to workwear, Jenny.
Everything.
And then everything in between. Tchotchkes, cups, whatever you need,
Just
customized.
get a hold of them.
Get a hold of them. AdCraftUSA.com. Again, AdCraftUSA.com. The Grow Clinton podcast is also powered by Miles Communications, offering us high-speed fiber internet. These wicked fast high speeds ensure that our broadcast is crisp, clear, and consistent. Also offering television and telephone services. MilesTelephone.com. Again, MilesTelephone.com. Thank you to all of our sponsors. Great guest today, Jenny.
I'd say so. A Clinton guy that we all know.
Yeah.
If you don't know him, I don't know why.
Yeah, so we got an election coming up, City of Clinton Council election. There is a contested ward in Ward 3. There's also 5 at-large candidates competing and campaigning for 2 seats. We here at Grow Clinton are very involved in municipal government. In fact, we sent out invitations to serve as a guest on this podcast to all candidates as well as the incumbent to come on the show, answer a few questions, have a chat with us here at Grow Clinton so we can better know and understand what they've accomplished so far as an incumbent and what their plans are for the future. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce Councilmember Pat Determan. Pat, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
So you've been in the council seat since your appointment. And
Yes.
what year was that?
So that was 2.5 years ago.
Okay, 2.5 years ago.
End of August, 1st of September. Yeah.
Now you are an at-large council member, currently seated as a member of the City of Clinton Council, but you have to run for one of the 2 at-large seats. Again, 5 challengers, yourself included.
Yeah.
So, Pat, we have a few questions here we want to get to in a second. But first, just give me a short 30-second response to what your first 2.5 years have been like.
Oh, it's been amazing. It was always something I thought about, but I just wasn't really in the position to really do it. And that I decided, with a little bit of help from a couple other people on the council to get me to go to try for the appointment. So I did it, and it's been interesting. It's been a very learning experience.
What is the most surprising part of it?
Nothing really too killer off surprising. It's just that how it all worked.
Yeah.
How the city really kind of worked. The public works, the police, the fire. What we're all involved in.
Yeah, somewhat of a complicated process if you're not in the know.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah.
So, Pat, we got a few questions for you here. No crazy curveball questions,
Sure.
Just basic stuff. And as the incumbent, you've experienced budgeting processes and things of that nature. So your response should be pretty spot on. So what do you believe are the City of Clinton's most significant economic assets, and how would you leverage them to attract and retain new businesses?
Well, I think the expansion of the rail park that we started years ago is now starting to come to fruition, as you would say. The rail park is going to be, I think, a huge employer out there. I do believe that's a nice, attractive thing. But at the same time, we're able to maintain our ADMs, our Nestle Purina with their expansions and ADM's expansions to also coexist with those guys and help them through the process of the South Clinton area, getting that developed through ADM. But to me, yeah, and as far as infrastructure wise goes, able to keep our costs down. We've able to maintain our sewer rates at a pretty low level compared to, and still accommodate to what the federal government says we have to do, what we're dumping into the Mississippi River, how that all got started.
Yeah, Jenny has a great opportunity and does a phenomenal job here at Grow Clinton and go out and meet with all those existing industries that are members of Grow Clinton. And, you hear everything about any concerns they have, but it's mostly positive stuff.
Really positive stuff. Yeah. In fact, when I started doing it, it maybe was a little bit different. And now in the last so many years, it's just been a lot more positive. And I think it's important to mention that, like what you're talking about the sewer, and you said that the government makes you do it, is mandated. Yeah, it's not that it's something that
clean up the Mississippi River.
Right.
I think the old gentleman that was out there that ran the wastewater, he said, you got to look at Clinton as like we have 30 discharges going into the Mississippi. We're going down to 8. We're going to, and as being a river person that I am, I've noticed that. I don't remember. I usually put in borders. I'll go catfishing where the barges tie up above the dam, that big circle thing. You literally can go up there any time of the year, middle of the summer, when the mud's got turned up from the barges, and you can see your anchor literally 6 to 8 foot down. Never thought I'd ever see the day that middle of July, you go out there and I can see my anchor at the bottom.
Yeah, it requires a little TLC.
Yeah.
All right. So the next question really relates to small business development, specifically startups and entrepreneurs. That's something that the Grow Clinton organization is laser focused on. As a membership organization, we do not want to be passive. We do not want to just sit back and wait for somebody to start a business and become a member. We want to help them create a successful business so that we are part of their entrepreneurial story. So what role should the city play in supporting small business startups, entrepreneurs, and existing employers?
Well, I think it all starts with, we have a strong building code system, but not, I think we need to kind of maybe tweak that a little bit. Sometimes I think we're a little too stringent on it, to kind of handcuffs the guys trying to start up. I truly believe what we're seeing out the rail park with Atlas being this jump start of, you have to have people. You can't spin off to all these small little businesses without having people to go into the front door of those businesses. And I just to say what Jenny said, I've seen the positive attitude of our city. Even though I've 19 years of being on that corner, I see it that way. But just the 2.5 years of being on the council, I think there's a different feeling in our community right now, that something positive, which is good, that we're going somewhere.
Yeah, Jenny, would you agree?
I absolutely agree with that. I'm really happy to go out and talk to people. I think they're really excited to see what's going on at the rail park and also the Lions Business and Tech Park. Yeah. That's really important. And I think you're right. I think that the bigger businesses coming will spur off into smaller businesses, but you have to have the people here. Right. But I really do agree with that. And I'd like to know, what do you think? What is your vision for what would you like to see come to Clinton?
I would like to continue the growth that we're having out at the rail park. We have a couple other jobs out there that are in the works. Hopefully they'll come to light. Very good paying jobs. Not huge. 60, 70, 80 employees, but very good paying jobs. I think a lot of the thing is what people saw. Anytime they see buildings going up, that's, what we saw out there by the casino out there, all those 2 apartment complexes out there. But even just starting on Bluff Manufacturing, that's going to be a huge change for the entrance coming into the city. It's going to get, even what we've done out on Miracle Mile out there on the Leakin Way, just expanding that out like we have. We've grown pretty good out west.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Manufacturing Drive, Bluff Boulevard. It's like ripping off a Band-Aid. You got to do it.
You can't
just keep kicking the can. You just got to grab it, rip it off, and it's going to suck for a little while. But just imagine how awesome it's going to be from even pedestrian use, bicycle, different modes of transportation. It's just going to be safe. It's going to be clean. It's going to be an easy thoroughfare to navigate. and ultimately better for the community as a whole.
These projects have to happen. I mean, we've gone so long, and to be on the city council when it's actually happening, Andy always said that was a paved over wagon path because it really wasn't. I mean,
I don't even know if there was an engineer involved in that process.
Yeah,
obviously not, because none of the intersections line up.
Right.
I mean, none of the four ways line up. They're all kind of askew.
Right.
So it really, I mean, we joke, but we just think they were like, well, that's pretty well beat down by the wagons. So let's just put some asphalt on it and call it a day.
That's right. So. And so to be on the city council, though, when something like that's happening, it's hard because people sometimes the pain of having to do it is real, but it has to be done. Absolutely.
Well, we just talked about that Tuesday at the council meeting, brought up. Jason Kraft, our engineer, brought up that our contractors were shutting down the roads. We're going to shut it down for a week. Anything over a week, you're probably going to look like getting a penalty on it or something, And then the main thorough roads, let the public know if they are going to be disrupted, for a while, So, I mean, I just want the community to know, the citizens to know that it doesn't go on deaf ears. I mean, Jason has looked at it and he's brought it to attention. He brought it to our attention Tuesday, which I thought that was kind of cool. I thought that was kind of nice because I think people were getting frustrated with 3rd Street when they were doing the sewer work. I mean, the water work on that line of section of road. So I think they're getting addressed.
Yeah. Every successful project can be attributed to positive communication.
Right.
Yeah.
It's still every time we have a problem, it's because somebody dropped the ball.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody didn't say something. Somebody didn't say something soon enough.
Right.
That's the key every single time. So,
So
Pat, Clinton has several underutilized properties and vacant lots. Specifically, we'll talk about the downtown Clinton sector. And for as a matter of fact, Lyons, too, has some underutilized properties.
Yeah.
What strategies would you support or suggest that we apply to encourage reinvestment in these spaces?
Again, it's such a tough one, Andy, because it's hard for that small business to want to really go into that shop and open up if the people don't have the income or we don't have the people for us to maintain that, to get them off the ground and get them going. I think we're heading that way. I mean, I'd love to see the downtown and the Lyons area start growing up those shops that are sitting empty, basically, and I think that's one of those things that it's just going to take time.
Yeah.
We have to get the 200 plus jobs out of Atlas Roofing coming into the community. I think we have enough. Housing's not really, now with the apartment complexes out there, I think we're sitting pretty good. We do have some, we're obviously short. Most communities are on livable spaces, but I think we're heading the right direction anyway. Yeah.
One thing I find from a housing stock perspective is the turnkey move-in ready homes, because a lot of our plant managers, they're making enough money and income to support the purchase of maybe a larger, nicer home, a little bit of land, whatever they want. However, what they're finding is within that price point, they're not locating anything that's like move-in ready.
Right.
So it either requires a lot of TLC or maybe it's overpriced. We just got to be very cognizant of what the market demands are. And a lot of these plant managers get told within 4 to 6 months they're relocating.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't have a ton of time to go out there and build a home.
No.
They want something that's move-in ready.
And Pat made a good point. I mean, the inventory is low in some spots. We have we have a spot where we don't have, like, let's say from, 170 to 270.
Right.
We don't have that, a lot of that, but it's getting better. I've noticed that. Yeah.
I believe the gentleman that come and built the 3 townhouses down there, which is awesome for the simple fact, what you said, it should satisfy that plant manager to come in. It's not an apartment. He actually bought it. Now he's going to have to obviously resell it as his house is getting built that he wants to build, but he has another piece of property to sell.
Right.
So he's not really wasting money into an apartment because he's buying a townhouse that he gets to own.
Equity. Right.
Very good. The next question, sir, relates to tourism and placemaking. Tourism plays a growing economic role in Clinton's local economy. What ideas do you have to make Clinton a more attractive destination for visitors?
Yeah, I think the start of Tailgates and Tallboys is a very good stepping stone. I believe what we're fortunate to have a casino, and Wild Rose promotes upcoming activities, events going on out there, which I don't think hurt anything. I think our baseball team is still strong. Obviously, we're not affiliated with anybody anymore, but had a very successful season.
Broke the attendance record.
Yeah, within the conference.
That's unbelievable. So I mean, what I enjoy is the desire's out there. We just got to come up with something to do it.
That's a component of Grow Clinton. We have Sarah Smith doing a great job as our director of placemaking and tourism. She's constantly searching for new opportunities to bring things here. Most recently, we had a very successful bass tournament. It was a national bass tournament. Not only was the event a success, but the people that put it on were so complimentary of our riverfront and our access to the river and the sloughs that they want to bring the national tournament back again next year. And are actually looking at maybe doing it twice. So, So we'll see.
We just got 25th Avenue boat ramp completed. The parking lot is finally completed. Has a facility up there that Lori Susie was part of back in the day when they built the restroom up there. So that's all got completed now. So that looks very nice.
All right, sir. The next question is, how can the city better support local events, festivals, and attractions such as the Riverfront, Eagle Point Park, and the Sawmill Museum? And I guess what I'm looking for is, what is your perspective regarding the city's involvement in either A, hosting these events, B, supporting the events, or C, collaborating with the organizations that are hosting the events?
Well, that's a good one there, because I think we're very open to that. I think we do a good job of that. How can we help you? Finding the space for them. Partner if we have to partner with you. If we think it's very beneficial, we have the resources to help them out, no doubt about it, to keep their costs down, but at the same time, bring in what we're looking for. I do believe that's what Tailgates and Tallboys was all about. That's exactly what it was, was trying to get that component built to draw the people in.
Yeah. And I will say Josh Eggers and the Parks and Rec department do a phenomenal job of offering whatever they can in support of events, even if they're not serving as the host, as well as our first responders.
Oh boy.
Police department, fire department, they're always willing to help, either it's close down a road or provide a patrol or whatever it is. I will say that all departments in the city of Clinton have been great to collaborate with.
Oh, there's no doubt about that. And, it's like another fun, like Josh brought that up, is our soccer complex out there is state of the art.
Dusty Krogman does a phenomenal job out there.
And they're award-winning gentlemen that took care of that grounds and stuff like that. So your 7-on-7 football events at the tournaments they have out there, stuff like that. So it's nice that we have a facility that satisfies that.
And I know Josh recently, if he hasn't already, is taking a little trip to an outside community to look at their athletic complex they recently created as a municipality and seeing what that looks like, what the overall cost was, what the timeline was, lesson learns, pitfalls to avoid as we approach potentially kind of redoing the Erickson Center.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So all good things.
We've developed that area out there, attaching a road to River King Drive out there for that housing development that is done through the school. This is actually now Clinton Community.
Why don't you just punched in a new road?
Punched in a new road out there
on the north end
for the future expansions of those houses that teach our students.
I really wish something like that was around when I was in school.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. No, very nice.
I would have loved to be involved in that, just because even if you don't pursue the trades as a career, having that knowledge as a homeowner, oh, that's great. That saves you so much money.
Yeah.
As long as it's all up to code, but that saves you so much money.
But that's it.
Trust me, I am a tradesperson best customer, because whether you're an electrician or a plumber, you're guaranteed I'm going to try it first. I'm going to screw it up, and then I'm going to call you, and you're going to be able to charge me more. So I should have just called you in the first place.
I have to say that when we do have events in town like Tailgate and Tallboys and things like that, the involvement of the city and the city first responders, planners, all of that is seamless. They do a great job. And that's a hard plan. I mean, it's hard to plan all of that.
Yeah, we just have to look. I say we, but I think as a community, we have to look at the cost structure of Tailgate and Tallboys. Who's responsible for what financially? Setting limits, goals, how we're going to attain those goals through the development of a great strategic plan, and then move forward. And I have no doubt that something will be figured out and it will be positive. Mayor Madison kind of ran on the platform of a Riverboat Days like festival. I can't recreate Riverboat Days, but something like it. And I know he's laser focused on creating at least an entertainment opportunity during the summer months for the entire community. So whether that's in the Tailgate and Tall Boys namesake or something different, I have no doubt that him and the rest of his leadership team will pursue something. Okay, Pat, what role do you see placemaking efforts such as murals, public art, public parks, and other gathering spaces play in Clinton's identity and growth? And how does the city support that?
Well, they allow the parks to be used by, take Gabby Barrett for
Torres.
I mean, Gabby Torres to be one of them. Just what she did in that little bit of playing it back in the short time frame, and then going to the pocket parks and putting up sculptures, and then we put sculptures on Riverfront Drive. The murals that we're doing, which actually spurred off to another mural up there in North End on the coffee. What is that place?
The old first gay,
the old Iowa State Bank.
Yeah. Renew 122.
Renew 122 is the name of
Moxie.
That's correct.
Yeah,
she does a phenomenal job.
She really does.
Yeah. So, I kind of comical because they talked about it, and if you ever drive up to Dubuque, it's all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
They've been doing it for years. We're fortunate enough that we're accepting that to do it also. Which is great.
No, it's very cool. I mean, placemaking sometimes is an unknown word.
Mm-hmm.
And really, just to break down, a simple definition is enhancing the quality of place, giving something for both residents and visitors alike to enjoy, look at. Public art is huge across the state of Iowa. It's continuing to grow. We're seeing some state-funded programs now help out with murals and the construction of different types of art, whether it be a monument or whatever. They're realizing that art draws visitors.
It really
visitors result in money being spent in your community. That's economic development. That's economic wealth.
It's kind of an unsung hero of getting people to your community, and people are showing now that they love that sort of thing. I mean, I think about
another reason why, what's in that Luber's fountain down at Riverfront. Fixing that back up again.
Yeah, that thing historically has been a headache for maintenance. I don't know. I mean, it seems relatively simple. Pump water out, pump water in, pump water out, pump water in.
Right.
But it's been difficult from a maintenance standpoint.
But from a citizen's standpoint, before I ever got into any of this work, that was one of the things in Clinton I just loved.
Yeah.
And take the kids down there. And so it's worth working on. But then also the Freedom Rock. What a great, thing to have in our community.
Yeah. Very nice.
Yep. Henry Langer, our old friend Henry Langer there, saluting his fellow troops.
Right.
So, Pat, in your view, what zoning or permitting changes could help accelerate responsible housing development and small business growth? I mean, we talked about this a little bit.
The zoning part of it, we've brought that up several times. Again, I think we have to bring it up one more time, just to tweak a few other things on it. But that's been an ongoing since I've been on. It's like I think we do have to look into the codes a little bit. I've heard from other people that they would love to do that, but the sprinkler system is it's a no-brainer. I can't do it, So I don't know. I think we have to kind of touch base on it a little bit. We try to follow the state codes and stuff like that, but I think sometimes we have to be a little bit more adaptable than what we really are.
Yeah. It is an interesting conversation, and it's that there has to be some kind of middle ground. We have to have a conversation about safety being a priority. No doubt. There's not one person out there that says safety is not a priority.
Right.
However, we need to determine what safety looks like, because if we sit in a room and say everything needs to be safe, where do we draw the line? Like no sharp objects. I understand the codes, but
you can't even make it profitable.
Yeah. So we're
getting started
here at Grow Clinton. We spend a lot of time focusing on how we do fill our derelict buildings and how we do work on some blight areas within the community. And the problem we run into really is the redevelopment of those spaces is cost prohibitive, meaning that you're not going to be able to put enough cash into it to get it up and ready to accept customers. And in return, the chances of you making a profit are like way down the road,
Yeah.
like way down the road because you've invested so much up front.
Yeah.
And, we're trying to work with the state to see if there's any monies available or we can tap into kind of offset those costs. We talked as an organization if we could leverage some of our own money that we have in cash reserves to try to offset those costs. But I truly believe that just the price tag alone, whether it be sprinklers or elevators or any of the ADA accessibility, which we agree to is a priority, but what does that look like? What must be done? And what is the expense associated with that? And is there any programs out there that can offset that cost?
As you mentioned it, when I go out and talk to people and I hear positive things, one of the things that sort of surprised me was speaking to people about the removal or the raising of some of the buildings that need to come down and how positive they are about that. But one thing I think people, when they say, well, why don't they just rip it down? It's not cheap.
It's not cheap. But we do, as a city, we do put $300,000 towards that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you think you're getting a little bit ahead and we kind of fall backwards a little bit. It's like, it comes down to, you still got to take care of stuff.
Right.
You bought that piece of property, you need to take care of it.
Oh, yeah.
We don't know. The citizens of Clinton do not want that house. You bought it, take care of it, or keep it up good enough that you can sell it. Don't just walk away from it. That's another problem we ran into. But I hats off to Tammy Johnson, though, getting us on the Brownfield
Tammy
grant.
So
that's
job.
what took care of, the Smitty's building. That's what's taking care of the YMCA building down there. It's grants like that help us clean those places up that are kind of an eyesore, run down.
We work closely here at Grow Clinton with the East Central Intergovernmental Association, which is our council of governments located out of Dubuque. They are predominantly grant writers and help us with the federal grant application process, but they are always very complimentary of Tammy and her team and what she's able to accomplish. All right, sir, as we close this podcast and this interview, I just have a couple more questions. How will you measure success as a council member in advancing Clinton's economic and community growth? I think to just give you an example while you think about it, here at Grow Clinton, we usually focus on metrics that are always influenced by outside things that we can't control. But we look at job growth. How many more jobs were created as a result of attracting a company? Job retention. How many companies have we helped that have been able to secure jobs or retain jobs as a result of that investment? And then ultimately, the community like well-being or placemaking, that's hard to put a metric on. But ultimately, as a member of the city council, and if you continue your representation in the city council as an at-large council member, you have to have some kind of measurement to prove success. What do you think that should be?
Well, I think it has to be that we're able to play off of the fire. I'll just use the fire department as an example. The 6 new hirees to bring them back up to full staff. Are we able to maintain them? The 2 more to the public works people, are we able to maintain them? It's always an ongoing struggle just because the cost goes up, healthcare being one of them. The health costs to the city employees is another battleground, so I measure it that way. If we're still going along, still advancing, growing, and not getting in the red, I think that to me, that's a nice benchmark. That's a nice benchmark to follow. Absolutely.
And a lot of that revenue comes from property taxes.
Yep.
And if you're not aware, the state did a pretty aggressive property tax reform last legislative session, which greatly reduced a municipality's ability to apply a levy to support increased taxation. Not necessarily a bad thing, because what's happening is you're seeing some of the smaller communities, especially those like Clinton, that are declining in population. Nothing gets cheaper, but there's less people to support the cost.
Right.
So ultimately, you depend on that property tax revenue coming in to support basic city operations. And that's garbage disposal, that's street maintenance, that's first responders. So I do not envy the position of council and Anita Dalton and Matt Brook and Mayor Madison, because you are constantly being asked to do more with less. And that is a very tough thing. And you don't have a magic wand and you don't have a money tree that I'm not aware of, at least. But it's very difficult. So for anybody who does become a first-time council member,
Yep.
My advice to you and my charge to you as an elected official within the city of Clinton is do spend your time reading those reports that come out, understand the budgeting process, because one slip up, one false move, just a little bit of ignorance into how the process works, and a vote that goes yes that maybe should have went no can result in years of required payback. Mm-hmm. So it is a very, very, how do I want to say this? Extreme responsibility.
It is.
It is not to be overlooked as just, I sit on the city council for Clinton. No, right. You are a vote. Mm-hmm. You are the vote of the constituents, and we strongly depend on you to represent that constituency and ensure the city's budget remains solvent and we can operate as business as usual.
And also, I mean, when you're talking about the constituents and the residents, it's a great call to action too, to realize that when somebody puts their hat in the ring and has the passion for our city and wants to do it, and that goes out to all of the candidates, they're stepping up to try to make a difference. The support is great. And if you have an issue, come with a solution. If you want our city to be better, be supportive of our council and at least communicate with them, because it's a tough job. Pat is passionate about Clinton. I know that all of the candidates are passionate about Clinton, or they wouldn't be doing it. Right.
Yeah. Right. You're absolutely right.
Last question, sir. What do you see as the most critical opportunity for the city of Clinton over the next decade, and how would you ensure that we don't miss it? So over the next 10 years, what do you think is going to be coming down the pipe that we need to take full advantage of?
Well, I truly believe, I think sometime in that 10 years, you probably see the new railroad bridge getting built, along with the development out there by the rail park. The big Rock Creek solar panel thing out there, I think you'll see more of that coming on our ways a little bit. You know, I know there's the talk of the wind turbines and stuff like that, but as they keep wanting to expand these data centers, they require a lot of electricity. Mm-hmm. You know, we're fortunate enough to have a couple of areas that could be that. Mm-hmm. But again, is our grid able to handle it? That's another thing that we have to see in the next 10 years, you know.
Yeah, no doubt.
And I just think continuing our development of our riverfront would be awesome too. I'd love to see that happen.
Oh yeah.
A little bit more. Because I think we're definitely under the radar on that. You know, it was as the development brought out that there's potential up there. You know, so
I always tell my friends in Davenport, we don't flood.
That's right. We don't.
You know, and that goes. So, and I just thought about that the other day, was because I grew up a block down from the North Bridge, you know, and I do remember that pile of dirt sitting there growing up, you know, before that bridge even got built. You know, it's like, that was almost sat there probably almost 10 years. 8 for sure before that mound of dirt all of a sudden got a road put on it and got a bridge put on it, you know. But it's things like that you have to, I personally believe, I probably will not be around to see some of these items that I'm trying to get accomplished going forward. But it makes me feel real comfortable that I know my kids and my grandkids will, you know, which
That's
is great.
A great attitude.
And my hat's off to those gentlemen that did. A lot of people say, how come you guys got 2 bridges? Well, because we had a group that believed in having 2 bridges for us. We had one and we had the other one, but we didn't want to lose that one. So they went to work, no different than the dike. Mm-hmm. You know, that was another council upheaval.
I remember it
back in the day. You know, that wasn't an easy task to do, to get passed over the city of Clinton. That really, we want to build a dike, cover up our riverfront. You know,
I'm sure.
It was. I remember.
I remember that. You know, talking to some of the people that come into my gas station that lived in, you know, they saw it happen. You know, they lived through that time. I was like, man, I just can't imagine what the, woof. So I kind of brings it back to like the YWCA thing. Yeah. It was on that line back then, just for the dike.
And the growing pains. I mean, that's part of growing pains.
Right. And I'm just thrilled to be part of it. I'm thrilled that other candidates decide to step up, you know. I don't think it's ever a wrong thing. You know, you feel something, throw your hat in the, you know, I always wanted to do it. I just wasn't really right for me, and run my business at the same time to break away and be able to give it 100% that I want to give it to it, you know. So the time came and I kind of got prodded along a little bit from a couple people. And I said, well, I guess I'll try it. What the heck?
Well, by the time Pat is ready to be 6 foot under, AI will advance to the point where we'll be able to resurrect him, and he'll be standing there at Lions Filling Station when you walk in, waving at you, answering questions.
Mayor of Main Avenue.
Just go issue a prompt to Pat. He's out there on the front. He can tell you everything.
Well, thank you very much for having me.
Yo, thank you. So best of luck in the election. Do let us know if you need anything.
Yes.
Jenny, thank you so much for participating in this interview.
Absolutely. I wouldn't miss it.
We got First Gateway Credit Union coming up tomorrow.
Today we have MFT CKF.
Perfect.
You don't know what that is? Tune in.
For those that don't know, well, they acquired UFP molded fiber located over in Manufacturing Meadows 2, right behind Clausen's and Nestle Purina. I guess Clausen's is no longer there. It's all Nestle now.
It's all Nestle.
But yeah, they're a great company, and we're looking forward to learn more about them. We'll be back on the air today at 2:30, I believe, is our next interview. Everybody out there in podcast land, we appreciate your continued support of the Grow Clinton podcast and everything Grow Clinton. Again, we are a nonprofit organization. We do not exist without the financial investment from our members. If you are an individual, you represent a company, you're an entrepreneur, and you want to get involved in Grow Clinton, we have a suite of full resources that you can take advantage of to help make your life easier. If you're interested in membership, contact Jenny in our office. It's easy to get a hold of her. It's just JHOLM, JHOLM at growclinton.com. Mine's a little bit harder because my last name's Sokolovich. So I'll just leave yours out there.
Contact me and then I can get a hold of you.
Yeah, sounds good. All right, everybody out there in podcast land, stay classy. We'll talk to you soon. See ya. Thank you for listening to the Grow Clinton podcast. Be sure to subscribe and follow us on all your socials. Until next time, see ya.